Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. I hope you have all had a wonderful Christmas. I had a great time and right now is the day after Christmas and my base is looking a little bit strange here in the desert, the jungle or Wastelands temple, whichever name you prefer. We have all of these Christmas chests, which is something that Mojang added in about a year ago, a little hidden update they did for Christmas, and you know what, they've added the trap chest since then. And they haven't updated that for this, so it looks really strange having these Christmas chests alongside regular chests. But anyway, this episode, what are we going to be doing? That's how we start things off around here. Well, last episode I asked you all to take a vote on if you wanted me to go underground and start the base, or if you wanted me to finish the Wastelands first of all. I was expecting a landslide for people to say go underground and do the base, which wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to finish the Wastelands first, but it actually turns out that quite a lot of you want me to finish that as well. So it was about a third of the people that voted for the Wastelands and 2/3 that voted for the base underground, and so I thought, what's the best thing to do then? It is to do a lot of both. We are going to be trying to do this underground base whilst making progress outside as well. So I have, of course, been a busy bee and made a ton of progress outside. You guys are going to love this. Let's go and have a look. I have been digging away like crazy, as you can see. And over in that corner is where I've actually done the most, and I think what we should do is throw an ender pearl and get over there so you can see the range in which I've been clearing blocks. Now, I haven't converted everything into wasteland yet, but I've been clearing away all of the stone. There was a big mountain here as well in this area. In fact, wherever you see a lot of level stone, that means I've dug down a lot. And where you see sandstone as well, that means where it's roughly the surface area, because above this would have been sand. So I have cleared all of the sand around here going over to that corner, and then I've been clearing away this area here. So you can kind of get an idea of how much I've been doing. And I remember when we've talked about, you know, the Wastelands in my episodes, asking what you want to see in the Wastelands, a lot of people have said, you know, have a hilly area because all of this is relatively flat so far. Now there was a big hill right here, and I decided to remove it because this hilly area, it goes all the way to the back of the Wastelands, which is as far as we can see. So it's not going to block the view of anything that's behind it. So we are going to keep in this hilly area over here. As you can see, I've been slowly terraforming this so it kind of leads up to this area, and for some reason I can't sprint at the moment. And do you know what it is? I'm so used to having these speed 2 beacons that whenever I'm going outside of the range of it, it feels like I'm walking if I'm sprinting or not. So yeah, anyway, this is going to kind of raise up, get a little bit higher over this end, and then there'll be a mountain of wastelands, and then I've started work demolishing the very high area that was over here. We built the gold farm above that, so that gives you an idea of how much I've done, although on Christmas Day, Mr. Slipgator came over and he said, I'm going to give you a Christmas present and help you with the Wastelands, which is very nice of him. He has been over here digging like crazy as well, and so between the two of us, we've got an awful lot done so far. Now this is going to go down probably by one more block, just so it's level with the Wastelands over here, and then this area that I'm pointing in, most of that is going to be flat as well. It's just this area over there that we're going to have that is hilly. So tons of progress made. Let's just go over here and have a look. I think Slipgate has been doing even more around here since I last logged on. I've been clearing the sand out of this area as well, so absolutely tons of stuff getting done. And what I plan to do is keep up, you know, with keeping this Wastelands on track to being complete while we're working on the underground base. Now, often when I do things in my episode, it's a project, you know, I have a good idea of where we're going to start and finish, whereas with this, I don't know, because there is a big plan for what's going to be going on underground, and there's going to be so many different things that we're going to be doing down there that I'm really not sure how long it's going to take me to do. There might be, you know, a lot of digging involved, which takes up the amount of time, and I've got to try and keep that interesting for you. And I've fallen in the river because I can't sprint. Let's just throw an ender pearl up there. And yeah, there's just so much that I don't really know how it's going to turn out. So we're just going to mumble along doing this, and when we get to the, you know, the end of the time that I have to record the episode, we're just going to finish things there regardless of whatever it is we're working on for this is done or not. So this project is going to be bigger, it's going to be continuous, it's going to span over episodes like that. Just thought I'd let you know. And this is the entrance area. Now, one thing that I'm going to explain in a little bit is that the entrance is not going to be 4 blocks like this. It's actually going to be centered around a single block, because I want everything underground to be on a odd width. So one of the things we will do underground is have our central area and then 4 paths that lead in each direction like that, and I all want it to revolve around a odd block I don't know what the word is, but I'm sure if you've done some building in Minecraft, you know what I mean. The width of everything is going to be odd and not even. So this is actually the corner of the 4 chunks that are in the center, and we're just going to pick somewhere here to be the center that we will use, and that will make a lot more sense in a bit. So I'm going to stop rambling about that. The first thing that I'm going to do is dig down, get some area cleared down below so I know what I'm going to talk about next, because as of right now I'm just mumbling on, but it will all make sense in a little bit. So, where are we right now? Well, obviously we're underneath the Wastelands. You may recognise this. This is the area where we did that mining a few episodes back. I was thinking about what to call this. It's not strip mining or branch mining, it's just clearing mining. And clearing out all of this area was a good idea to get ourselves some diamonds to play around with a new technique. But also it helps with building this, because I wanted to have a look at the kind of size and scale of the area that we're digging out, and having this all cleared has definitely helped with that. However, I kind of feel like this is actually a little bit bigger than what I initially thought it was going to be. Now, I've already stated that we wanted to do an underground base that has 4 branches. It's going to have a central area which is like a entrance, and the middle of that is going to be a single block, so we can have odd width on either side. Now, the actual middle of the Wastelands, as I said a moment ago, is 4 blocks like that, and we don't want to build like that, so we need a single one. But the problem that this creates is with an ender pearl elevator. So when you come into the Wastelands, I want to have a portal all the way up in the sky, so that's the first thing that you see, and then you plummet down into this area down here. But then of course you are going to need an ender pearl elevator to get all the way back up and out, which is kind of time consuming, but for the spectacular view we're going to have up above, it's going to be totally worth it in my opinion. So if we're going to have a central thing like this, the problem that we're going to encounter is that you can have like your column in the middle, you can put vines on either side, and then you have a gap where you've got vines on the side of that block. So if you imagine it going around like this, it means that this block right here is going to have no vines on it. So if you throw your ender pearl into this bit, then you're going to plummet back down again. I do have a solution for that, but I thought I'd explain why. Another reason why at least I wanted to have an odd block in the middle, because that's how I wanted to do the ender pearl elevator. So we're going to have one of those there, but right now we are still in that stage of digging, and as I said, this feels a little bit bigger than I actually needed, and so I might scale back the size that I'm going to dig above. But this room we're building down the bottom here is going to be quite tall as well, so we need to dig up. Now the actual height that I want the room to start at is a little higher than this, and that's because of the void fog. Let's move over here. You can see the void fog in effect. That's going to look really ugly in our base, so we need to go higher up where that's no longer visible. And even at this height you can still see the void fog has quite an effect. So we're going to go up by 2 blocks up to Y13. I've been doing some testing over here which I could probably show you right now. So if we just look straight ahead, you can see it kind of blocks it out. We go up by 1, it's still there but not as bad, and we go up by 1 more, and then there's a little bit of void fog, but it doesn't really black out what's in front of you. So that's why I want to do it at that height there. So I need to stop rambling and start digging. I just wanted to let you know what's going on here at this point, because the next thing I have to do is dig upwards, and we're going to have to go up a hell of a way because this room is going to be quite tall, and so I've got a ton of digging ahead of me, and I have no idea how long it's going to take, but I guess I just got to get started with it. And we're back. It doesn't look like I've done very much down here, but if you notice there is a line that goes around the outside, that is because I've been digging the area above, and so that's where I think we want the width for the size of our room to be. So anyway, let's go up here and have a look. Now what I've done is I've dug upwards as far as I could, so all of this area up here has been cleared, and about halfway through doing this I realised that we are standing 1 block higher than where I want the floor to be, so this is going to need to be even taller. So what I'm probably going to do is go up to here and create a second platform just like we did here, and then dig all the way up again, and somewhere around there will be the roof. But I haven't actually seen what it looks like going down, but as I said, this isn't where I wanted the floor to be, so we're going to have to continue digging up, which is very time consuming at the moment. It took me a long time to do this, but what I wanted to show you was what this looks like as we remove the floor, because then we get a better sense of depth, although as I just stated this is pretty close to where I want the floor to be, and I've been poisoned, which isn't good. How annoying. And I think that witch spawned there while we were recording. But anyway, let's just remove the edge of that dirt. This little patch over here. Oh, taking damage is so annoying. And then we'll just blitz all of this away while the screen shakes around. And then we can kind of get a sense for how big this is going to be. And actually, do you know what's going to be useful here? We can look at what it looks like from the ground going up to the ceiling here and get a good idea of how big we want this ceiling to be. So let's just remove a little bit more, and I can see if I can get an idea. And at last we have stopped taking damage. That is so irritating. So from up here, if I imagine that I'm standing above the ground, that does look like a good distance right there. I'm trying to picture what it is I want to build in here, which I haven't told you about yet. And you know what, this is actually kind of awkward to look at because of the void fog, so I should have removed the area around the middle here. I think that's what I'll do now. So looking upwards, if I was standing on the ground where it's going to be, which is at this level right there, yeah, that's correct, I would actually say that needs to be a little bit taller. So I'm going to figure out how much we need to raise this roof by when we do the next section, because I can gauge from here that it probably needs to be about 6 or so blocks taller, I'd say. This is a lot more digging than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. It's kind of difficult because digging is time consuming and you want to make a good episode and you don't want to spend the whole episode digging, yet at the same time I want to show you, the basics of this base, the foundation, the beginning area, and digging this hole out is a big part of that, so I guess I'm just going to have to grind through it and see how much I can do. So I have done more digging, and there is more digging to do. I'm starting to get a little bit sick of this. It is crazy, this, and I think what makes it especially difficult is that I don't know exactly the size of the area that I need. So as I'm going along, I'm digging out some areas I don't need and making mistakes, and it's kind of a bit of a headache. But right now we are standing on top of this leaf platform. This is to stop mob spawning, something really temporary that we can put down and remove easily with shears. Now there's a little bit of a problem here. If you have a look at the void fog, that is horrible. That is a lot more than I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be less intrusive and more transparent, and I realised what we're going to have to do is put in some sky lamps. Now if we were to remove the void fog by going higher up, it means we have to dig up even higher, and standing at this height right now I'm already thinking we need to dig this higher up for what I want to do as it is. So we're going to have to put in sky lamps. We're going to have to remove the void fog completely, which means we can actually go down below. So this space down here, a moment ago I was looking at it and thinking, why did I dig all of that out? Because we're not going to use it, but now we are. So let's go down here and have a look at that ceiling. For me that is almost there. It just needs to be a little bit higher. Now one thing you may notice is that is supposed to be the middle right there. I've only just noticed this, but this wall is too close. So this needs to go back that way another 5 blocks, which is just going to be crazy, and we need to go higher still. So just more and more digging. It's it's crazy, and I'm wondering maybe we should do something different. And there's going to be a lot of digging this episode, and there'll be a lot of digging in the future as well, because this is an underground base, and I think that we're going to have to do something a little bit different with these episodes rather than me constantly going on about the digging that I've been doing. But let's have a quick look here. This is the ceiling, so we're going to go here and we're going to go up to that height, and then that should be enough. And if you have a look here, there is actually quite a bit of space. Even though we are coming up to Y37, there's quite a bit of space between here and the Wastelands up above. Now those sky lamps that I'm talking about putting in, I think they're going to work really well because you won't be able to see them from up here. We're going to pick the lowest places to put them, of course, so wherever there's some crazy wastelands like this, we'll just pick a spot down the bottom like here to put in our glass that goes all the way down and creates a lamp to get rid of the void fog. So we're not going to be able to see it from the surrounding area is what I'm saying. So I think it should look pretty good. And that is not the hole to get back down. There it is. Thought I lost it for a moment there. So we're still here in this giant hole underground, and I gotta say this project is not going the way I wanted it to. It is turning out to be a lot more difficult than I thought it would, which is kind of annoying because this is a big project that I've really been looking forward to for a long time. But first of all, let's talk about what I've actually done. So over on this side you can see that I've pushed all of this back by about 5 or 6 blocks, so now both of these walls are the same width. And then if we look up into the sky, you can see that the whole area is nice and bright, and that's because we put in some sky lamps, so that light is coming down here into this space and lighting up all of the walls. Now if we go and stand down here on the floor and stand directly in the middle and look into the distance, you can see we can still see a little bit of void fog, but it's not so bad, and it's only in those middle areas, so there's not going to be a lot of that. Now when I was placing these sky lamps, I was actually being a little bit OCD. I went up there and I placed them in different places a couple of times, and I wasn't sure about where to place them, and in the end I was like, do you know what, we just got to get this done. So we have a grid of 5 going that way and 5 going that way, so 25 in total, and that was just me climbing up the ladder, going all the way to the top, picking the right location, digging all the way down and falling down to the bottom here. It was quite an amusing task, but it is done now, and all of those have glass at the top as well. So from the Wastelands, you're not going to fall down into this area. Now, I don't know why I'm climbing this ladder. Let's go and stand down here. And let's talk about what I wanted to do in this room. I really did want to have something to show you, but I don't think I'm going to be able to work on this anymore, just because I'm getting very frustrated with trying to figure out what it is I want to do. The dimensions of this room still don't feel right, and the thing that I wanted to build first of all was the ender pearl elevator in the middle, which I might still build, I'm not sure. But that was going to be the centerpiece. We were going to have an ender pearl elevator to get in and out of this area, and then around that I wanted to place down lots of bushes. So in my mind I've been picturing this lush greenery, you know, surrounding the ender pearl elevator. If you've seen Hypno's Pyramid from the old Hermitcraft map, you'll know what I'm talking about, where it kind of starts off close to the thing in the middle, which is the ender pearl elevator, and then it kind of spreads out and, you know, moves across further around as it gets to the ceiling, so it kind of looked like a funnel leading down to a central point. Now, earlier when I was getting frustrated doing all of the digging, that's when I realised that this stuff looks really ugly in this biome. Now, to be honest, it's not too bad. It's like a sandy green, but it also kind of looks like puke, and it's just not the golden green that I was going for. If it was the same green as in the jungle biome, then this would look absolutely fantastic. And now I'm thinking, well, what am I going to do there? Because that's going to look awful, and I need to replace it with something else, and I don't know. That's what I've had in my mind for so long. And I'm realising the way that I like to tackle things and try and turn them into entertainment for you guys is in projects, and this is just a project that is too big, you know, to do in one go. It relies on inspiration and, you know, finding the right moment to do the right thing, and that is certainly not right now. After digging this big hole, I need a break. However, whatever it is we are going to do, it's still going to revolve around the ender pearls to get in and out, so I think we should definitely get that installed this episode. So I've started to install the ender pearl elevator, and I am just feeling tired at the moment. I've spent so much time digging out that hole down below, and I've just realised that, you know, for the amount of time that I've spent doing that, I would normally have made an episode, and I'm kind of getting to that point now where I'm out of inspiration, and I think it's probably not a good idea to continue. So I'm going to show you what I've done with this ender pearl elevator and talk about how it's going to work. Now, as I mentioned, the top of the ender pearl elevator is going to be up in the sky, but I thought I would stop here since I'm going to be going back and forth between the jungle temple, desert temple, whatever you want to call it, and so I can put a ladder on the side of this, and then it makes it easy to get in and out of this place rather than going up and down the ladder that we have there. Now, this thing at the moment, it pops out, and it's also made out of quartz, which I'm not sure if I'm going to keep, but what I'm thinking I will do is terraform the wastelands around it just so it kind of slopes up. If you imagine like a little bit of a mini volcano, and I'll have to make it so that the mobs can't get inside there as well, which is another important thing. We don't want to be ender pearling up and down and have a creeper blow up on us. And then, yeah, it will go up into the sky. There will be another 2 platforms, I think, and then it will be around the old sky limit, which is 128 blocks, and up there we will have a portal. So you come through the portal from the nether, you get a good sight of the wastelands, and then you can drop down. So on one side, which is this one, we have just a straight drop. Now, you can't really see it, but at the bottom of that stone there is quartz, and that is at the bottom of the room, and then there is quartz again at the bottom, and on this side we have the ender pearl elevators. So I can hold down shift, and if I do that again, you'll see I'll stop at this height here, so you can see roughly where this is. And then there's no string anywhere at the bottom here because you can throw an ender pearl from this point straight up to the one above. So this one is just to break your fall, and I could actually probably lower that, which means I'd have to lower everything above it. This could probably be 1 or 2 blocks lower, I think. I don't know why I built it at that height, but this is the height of the floor. You're probably also wondering why there's all this bedrock. This is one of the features I had in mind for my base. I'm going to do something down here with the bedrock, just a little aesthetical little thing. Nothing technical or really that interesting, but just something for fun. And so I was removing that to get a good idea of where I needed the floor to be, and it's going to be about this height here. So on this side you'll drop down as well, but if you stand on this side and throw an ender pearl, you're going to go up to the middle, and then you throw another one, you go up to the next one. And I failed at doing that, and I am thinking, what happened there? The closer they are together, the quicker you go up as well, so I might change this by a couple of blocks. And so from down here you can see there's a little bit of structure to the quartz. That's just something I felt like doing when I was building this, and I think what I had in mind was this being attached to something above it, and again the whole idea of something coming down from the ceiling that we used to travel up and down through. And we were going to do that with leaves. I think that would have looked awesome, but of course the leaves in this biome look like puke. Now one other thing I have been thinking about is the sky lamps that we have installed. Now when we put this right here in the middle, the sky lamp that was directly above here has been removed because of this bit right here in the middle of the ender pearl elevator. Now I think, even though there is string vines and buttons in the way, the light still passes through, because I can't see any void fog when I'm standing here in the middle, which is a good thing. So we get to keep that in the middle. It doesn't spoil the problems with the void fog. But I think we're going to have to wrap this episode up here. It's been kind of frustrating trying to make an episode while struggling with the game a little bit. I'm sure you all know how it is. You've all played this game. Well, some of you haven't. I do know there's people that watch that don't play this game, but it can be difficult when you're not quite inspired. So I know you're all going to be supportive down there in the comments, but what I'd like to ask of you is to share any ideas that you have, any things you might think I like to do in this area, things that you see here. You know, you're looking at this big empty space and thinking, oh, Xisuma should do this, Xisuma should do that. Any of that stuff, post a comment down below, because that is really inspirational sometimes, just reading about other people's ideas of things to do in this game, or just watching other people play. And as of right now, you know, digging this big hole and trying to get underway with this project when I wasn't really in the mood has very much drained me, so any support you can give me will be greatly appreciated. But that is going to wrap up this episode. Hope you can understand, a lot of digging went into this one basically. We didn't really get too much done, but the digging took a very long time, and this is actually my last pick now, an efficiency free one, so I'm going to go spend some time at the end farm repairing all of that. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.